Welcome to Kathryn Raaker's World. Innovation, culture, adventure, fashion and health, artists, destinations, traditions. This is Kathryn Raaker's World.
Hi, this is Kathryn Raaker of Kathryn Raaker's World, our syndicated TV show, and Let's Just Talk, our syndicated radio show. Our guest today is Craig Calafati. He is the Executive Vice President and Director of Lending for Arkansas Capital Corporation, or ACC, a private nonprofit lending corporation dedicated to empowering entrepreneurs across the U.S. to meet the individual capital needs of businesses, with a commitment to revitalizing communities in Arkansas and beyond. They were recently chosen by the SBA to receive one of the 3 new SBLC licenses, the first expansion of the SBLC program in 40 years, which means that they can expand SBA 7A lending services nationwide. He is a former small business owner with over 30 years of success in commercial lending, including 25 years as an SBA lender, and is an excellent advisor to entrepreneurs, startups, and small businesses seeking funding to start new companies or expand existing ones. He will discuss the differences between an SBA loan and commercial bank loans and tips for entrepreneurs and the application process when trying to secure capital. Welcome to our show, Craig. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you very much for having me.
Craig, I personally, during the pandemic, if I can share this with you, had an SBA loan because I'm a small business. I'm a sole proprietor. So it really helped a lot. And it was an easy process. Not a problem at all. But I want to know about your Arkansas Capital Corporation and tell us a little bit about that. And why did you start it?
Well, Arkansas Capital has been around since 1957, actually. We were started at the behest of then Governor Rockefeller in Arkansas. He got together some business leaders in the state, and they decided it was time that they really put a program together to help entrepreneurs, to help businesses in the state, and try and convert an agrarian economy to an industrialized economy. So we've been doing it since 1957. We have a number of different aspects to our company. We are a SBA lender, as you mentioned, both 7A, and we are a 504 CDC, which is an agent of SBA, and that's kind of unique to us. Also, we have an EB5 regional center, which helps with investments in approved projects in the United States that create American jobs. It helps people wanting to immigrate to the United States. They can invest money into programs that create jobs and get their green cards. We also do new market tax credits, and we have a very extensive program in entrepreneur education in the state.
But you're not going to lend it to an illegal immigrant, am I correct?
No. These are people that are immigrating to the United States and have some spare cash lying around. They can make an improved investment, and it's a substantial amount. I believe it's $900,000.
That's right. So let me ask this. Let's talk between an SBA loan. What's the difference, and what is having it such an accomplishment for ACC?
Okay. Well, 2 different questions. I think you're talking about the SBLC license on one hand, and then SBA lending, the differences.
That's
so
right.
The primary differences with SBA lending and a conventional loan, or a conventional bank loan, is there is no minimum collateral requirements with an SBA loan. Also, it's important to know that the SBA doesn't loan money in the 7A program. They provide a guarantee to banks and to the lenders. And what that helps is for us as lenders to kind of get over some of those rough spots that they might
Mhm.
see in an application. So you have requirements in SBA that they have to be a small business.
Yeah.
Um, the difference, as I mentioned, the lack of collateral. There's also typically a much lower down payment with an SBA loan, as little as 10% in most cases. And it, like I said, that guarantee will help a bank or a lender get over some of that rough spots and maybe look at a startup where they might not have looked at a startup before, or looked at an industry where they might not have normally looked for. And so that's really what SBA does, and it helps do that. Now, as far as the SBLC license that we talked about earlier, that's a small business lending company. SBA is not. It's a license that allows a non-bank, non-regulated lender to come under the regulation of SBA, be regulated by them, and
Mhm.
lend on a national basis. They haven't allowed new ones for 40 years. They just allowed 3 of them, and we were one of the 3. And we're very proud of that. It's a huge coup for us. And it's going to allow us now to expand outside of the state, go nationwide with our SBA 7A lending. And we're starting kind of a crawl, walk, run. We're starting in the surrounding states, so most of the South, and then eventually we'll go nationwide. But we're not going to just jump in feet first and try to figure it out. This is something I've done before with another institution, and I think the right way is to do it slow and steady and measured.
I agree. I agree. And as a small business, they gave me a certain amount of money, and that was it. And it was easy. It wasn't hard.
Yeah,
But
it's much easier than a lot of people think.
yeah, it really was. And they were very, if I had a question, I could call them up and they knew, I think they got to know me after a while,
Sure.
So ACC has an entrepreneur education program
Mhm.
with a Governor's Cup competition
Correct.
to award student entrepreneurs.
Mhm.
And can you tell us more about that and why this is so important to your company mission? And is there an age limit for a student?
Boy, I don't know about the age limit for the students.
Well, I'll tell
I've
you
never been
why.
asked that question before, but I
Well,
would
I'm going
guess
to ask
that.
you why, because I have a granddaughter that has her own. She's an entrepreneur. She'll be 14.
Oh, okay. Well,
Started at 11.
yeah. Wow. No, that's phenomenal. No, I'll tell you that part of the business is integral to our mission, because our mission really is to go to help underserved communities, to help people, to help entrepreneurs start businesses and become part of that framework of our economy. And so what we do with the Governor's Cup is actually a competition for college students.
Okay.
And they win very large cash prizes. I mean, 20, 30,000 at a time. We've been doing it for a number of years, over 20 years. And it's a competition for the college students, typically teams from the different universities around Arkansas. We're slowly expanding it into some other states now. We also do entrepreneurial education in the secondary schools too, as well. So we're really trying to start them young, teach them about business. Yeah, teach them about that thing. And it's really important to our mission, because that's really where it starts.
And there's a lot of young entrepreneurs out there.
Absolutely.
And my granddaughter's becoming a high school student this year. So anyhow,
Amazing.
we'll have to talk later and you can let me know which states
Sure.
you're going into, because that's really important. Because there's a lot of young entrepreneurs that are in science and other things, and they have developed things that could blow your mind, that are great, right? So earlier this year, your company was honored as the Arkansas Equity Advocacy Lender of the Year by the SBA for fueling economic growth through entrepreneurship in the state's underserved minority and rural communities. Can you tell us more about that?
Again, that's something else we're very proud of, and it really speaks to people that we have here on the team at ACC, we really have spent a lot of time and energy and effort pursuing our mission, and that is to get into these underserved communities. And it's not always easy to do. And we have really gone out of our way to do that. And we're very proud that SBA has recognized us for our efforts. And we're just going to continue to keep doing what we do. And now we're going to be able to do that on a nationwide basis. And it's exciting.
That's so exciting. It really is.
It is.
What is the biggest challenge right now for entrepreneurs and startups seeking funding, and why is the SBA so important for startups?
Well, again, it kind of goes back to some of the things I mentioned earlier. When you're starting a business, as you know, or anybody knows that's ever been in business, there's a lot of different aspects to it. You've got to not only have a business plan and come up with the idea of what exactly you're going to do, but you've got to raise the money. You've got to hire the people. You've got everything else. The SBA, again, not only provides a lot of advocacy for these people, I mean, through SCORE and through the different programs, but also provides those guarantees to lenders so that they can take a look at businesses that they might not normally be looking at. And one of the biggest challenges you have is lenders across the country right now, they get spooked when they see certain things in the economy that have been going on. And the credit box is really tightened up across the country. And you will find when the credit box tightens up conventionally, that's when SBA shines, because that's when the banks start looking to SBA to provide a guarantee to help them get more comfortable with these loans. And that's why it's important to startups and new businesses and existing businesses too that want to expand.
Let me ask you, is there certain businesses that you actually fund other than others? Like, do you do entrepreneurs that have food products?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as you can imagine, it's usually the businesses that are a little riskier tend to gravitate towards SBA because the banks typically don't like restaurants is a great example. You know, the closure rates on new restaurants is astronomical. So SBA is a perfect niche for that. A restaurant can come in, they can get, say a 10-year loan, not a 2-year loan, but a 10-year loan with minimal down payment, as little as 10% down, to get their business started. It's important that these businesses not only have enough capital from their loan, but capital that they're also investing in the process. We don't want them to put all their money into the loan. We want them to reserve some of that for working capital and to operate, after they've been going. Everybody thinks, be it a restaurant or any other business, everybody thinks they're going to be completely full on day one, and that's not the way it works. It's a slow process in most cases, and you've got to have some powder that's dry so you have some cash left over. And that's one of the biggest advantages, I think, of SBA lending is we really do as SBA lenders try to find ways for you to conserve your capital and keep some of that remaining on the side so you can operate.
I wanted to ask this question, and that is not just restaurants, but brand new products. That's one of the things. I have a cooking show as well, and a healthy cooking show. So a lot of products come across my desk that I try. I do test them in many different ways. I love new products because I have created new products because I'm allergic to garlic. So everything has garlic in it, right?
Oh, that would be terrible for me.
So I work with, I've worked with acai products. I've worked with things that nobody thought would make it and have really done well with. And so those to me are exciting products. It's important, I think, that we understand exactly what won't they fund.
Oh, well, yeah. You talk about new products. What it's really difficult to fund products that are still in R&D and they don't have a product ready to go to market because we have to be able to demonstrate repayment ability on the loan. So that's very difficult. SBA can't fund any kind of investments. So if you're looking to buy an apartment house that's leased out to 4 people and you want to make the, get rent as your income, that's not an SBA deal. There are certain things that are precluded. Anything having to do with marijuana businesses is a definite no with. Well,
Yes.
it's
Yeah,
federally
I agree.
regulated. It's a federal program, so
That's
yeah,
another.
it's
We
a
don't
whole
need to
other
touch
deal,
that.
and
That's a
and
different deal.
yeah, you can't do that. So there are several criteria, but if you are a business owner that's looking to own and operate your own business, then the SBA is really where you really want to look at it. And I
Okay,
don't
so
want to just focus on restaurants. I mean, it's any kind of businesses, gas stations and manufacturers and warehouses and truckers and pretty much, it's any business you can think of. I mean, over my 25, 30 years, I have seen any kind of business you can possibly think of, and some that I never thought had a prayer that have done phenomenally.
right, that's what surprises me, because my granddaughter wanted to be a veterinarian, and so she started her own dog care business.
Right.
She takes care of cats and dogs,
Yeah.
and very smart little, 11-year-old. She started at 11.
Amazing.
So, I think they watch Shark Tank and they go, I can do this.
Yeah.
So, what are your 3 top tips that small businesses are able to position themselves for an SBA loan to be sure they aren't turned down? Are there any mistakes to avoid in the application process? Please tell us.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. A lot of people don't really come prepared when they're coming to look for it. And you'll hear people talking about a business plan. A business plan is integral. That's what tells me that, one, what you want to do, but how you're going to do it. It shows to me that you know what you're trying to do. It really the biggest things that you need to know going in is, what do you need and why do you need it? Those are the 2 biggies. And what do you need? Meaning, how much cash? The worst thing you can say to somebody is, I'll ask you, well, Kathryn, how much money do you need for this project? Well, how much can I get? That's the wrong answer. I need to know not only what you need, but why you need it, what you're
Right.
going to spend that money on.
Right.
And then to have everything together, have your financial projections together, have your past finances together, have everything ready to go. We're going to ask you for a lot of information, pretty much everything that you've ever done in the past. And I will say one thing about you talked about SBA loans being pretty easy. It's a big misconception that SBA has a ton of different paperwork that they do from a regular loan. It's pretty much the same. We're all asking the same questions because at the end of the day, everybody just wants to be sure that we're going to get paid back. That's kind of the bottom line. It's not charity. I mean, it really is. And when we're dealing with SBA loans, you're trying to make sure that we don't have to invoke that taxpayer guarantee. We want to make sure it's a good loan and that everybody's going to get paid back. So it's really important that you do your homework. You know what you want, what and why you need it, and when and how you're going to execute. That's really the key.
How can our listeners and viewers learn more about the ACC and contact you? And do you know when you're going to expand into other states?
Okay. Right now we are looking at, as I said, most of the South. That's where we've expanded into now. I've already hired a couple extra people, and we're slowly building the department up. And within a year to 18 months, we plan on being nationwide.
Okay.
And then
So would Maryland be considered South for you, or are you talking?
Not yet. We're really kind of looking, let's say, SEC areas. So, across the South, Florida, Georgia, and then our surrounding states, Louisiana, Missouri, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Texas.
That's good.
Those.
That's really good. So if you're can I ask this real quick, real fast?
Sure.
If you're a 501c4.
Yes.
Okay, because I have an organization I work with that's a 501c4.
Mm-hmm.
So if they needed funds, they could come to you.
Nonprofits are not eligible.
Nonprofits are not eligible?
Are not eligible. Nonprofits are not eligible, but sometimes nonprofits can be owned by for-profit entities. They are eligible.
Yeah, and this is not like a 501c3 that collects money for memberships or anything.
No, I understand. And we're a nonprofit too. But we're not a 501c3.
You're a nonprofit.
Yeah, we are a nonprofit. We've always been a nonprofit.
That's good. I used to run a nonprofit. I know I've done 3 nonprofits actually, so I really understand that part of it. Thank you.
Yeah, I've always been a banker my whole life, so this is my first nonprofit. I came here as a sense, this is really my sense.
Is it a challenge? It's not a challenge. It's not a challenge for you, is it?
Oh, sure it is. Absolutely. Especially getting into underserved communities. These are people that typically they don't even ask anymore because they've been turned down so many times. And to get in there and really convince them that you have a shot and your needs are legitimate and we're going to help you out. That is a challenge because they just don't believe you. And
I want to thank you so very much for joining me today. It's been very educational. And I'm glad I understand SBA because I used to be in the finance business when I first started out. So I know, and I've been through it. And at first I thought, oh, this is going to be, they're not going to approve me or they're not going to do this or not. But I've been in business 25 years and they did approve me and we did it. It helped us a lot through the pandemic. So that was important to me. So I know I get calls every day, Craig, from people that have just become entrepreneurs and I try to guide them along. Okay.
It's a hard job. It's a hard life.
It is.
I was a restaurateur for a number of years and there's a reason I'm a banker now. So
I wouldn't, I do a cooking show and that's enough, right?
Yeah, right.
Because you're so tired afterwards, you just want to sit down and put your feet up and watch TV or something other than what you're doing. Thank you for joining me today on Kathryn Raaker's World and Let's Just Talk. Please give your website where people can get more information.
It's arcapital.com.
arcapital.com. And it's been a pleasure. And don't forget to go to our websites at Kathryn Raaker's World. That's Kathryn Raakers, RAAKERS world.com. Let's Just Talk.com and the Chef You and I.com. It's all under our Kathryn Raaker's World. And thank you so very much for joining me today. It's been an honor.
Thank you, Kathryn.